Hi, everyone. Earl here from the Cryptopolitan Podcast, and today we have Clem as our guest on the show. How you doing today, Clem?
I'm doing great. Oh, how about yourself?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. So, quick question here. Where are you calling in from today?
Monaco.
Monaco. Fantastic. What time is it?
It's 8 o'clock, 8 in the evening,
Eight in the
but this
evening.
is this is my view out of that window.
Oh,
And if
fantastic.
I actually have my view, obviously the sun's from behind, and as a broadcaster, you'll know that makes me an outline, and I'll look like some sort of terrorist being interviewed.
Oh, fair
So
enough.
it's just a screen grab.
No, that's a good trick for sure. I'm calling you from Vancouver, where it is super cold today, so I'm glad to be indoors.
What do the
Anywho,
hummingbirds do when it's cold in Vancouver?
well, cold is a relative term, right? Here, I get it's only -2, and so we're shivering our buns off. And then our neighboring province is -27, which
Oof,
I'm really glad I'm not over there. So the
oof.
hummingbirds, we actually have a hummingbird feeder in my back where they come and hang out with us. So they're still there. They're still
They
chirping
hang
away.
with you when it's cold, do they?
Yeah, pretty much. They stick around closer because they need more food. Anyway, yeah, well, let's jump right in. Why don't you tell us about the project you wanted to talk about today? So just a kind of 30,000 foot overview so that even the beginner listeners can listen in and understand what it's about.
Well, a long time ago, I started a very successful financial website called aNewFN that's still going. It's still very successful. And also in the US, that was called Investors Hub, which is a
Mhm.
small cap investor website. But now I'm
Nice.
starting something that is a bit more spicy because, I mean, I don't know about you, but if you look at the web these days, it looks the same
Mhm.
as it did in 2005. I mean,
Right.
it's frozen in the past.
Hmm.
And my team and I have been had a couple of years to think about what to do. So this year we're going to be launching something a bit more modern, bring it into this decade rather than the last millennia. So we're
Okay.
going to do something a little bit funky, a little bit spicy. But I mean, it's all about accuracy, speed, and timeliness in financial markets. And nobody knows that better than crypto people because crypto moves faster than equities and moves fast 24/7, 365, whereas equities, go between whatever 8 and 4 or whatever country you're in.
Hmm.
And nothing on the weekend, nothing at night. I mean, what is that? I mean, in fact, the old financial websites are like the old fancy stock exchanges. They're a little bit stuck in the past, and we want to bring it to the now, and that's what we're planning to do this year. So, if anyone wants to check it out, get the name on the wait list. We'll let them into the party early.
What's the name of the website? I want to hear it from you.
aNewFN. I think it's probably down there at the bottom left-hand
A new
side
FN.
of
Yeah,
the
I
screen.
see it there, but I wanted you to say it.
Yeah,
So
aNewFN.com.
what does the FN stand for? Is there
Financial network.
okay? So a
And
new
A
financial
stands for
network.
the first letter of the alphabet, so that, in lists you could get at the top rather than
Oh,
being
I
a
love
Z.
it. Yeah, absolutely.
Old
So
school.
hey, man, back in the day, people would name all of their companies AAA rated whatever because so they would show up at the top of the yellow pages. Remember that? Yeah.
25% of all listed companies on the US stock market start with A, or
Yeah,
certainly did a few years ago.
exactly, exactly. Cool. So whom are you targeting with the new site? Are you targeting people who are brand new to the space, veteran traders, people who are, trading, like you said, 365, 7 days a week? Who are you trying to attract to this
Well, I
new
mean,
concept?
I think the thought that we had is that if you bring this stuff up to, modern ideas of modern standards, and you drag the media up from Yahoo Finance, God bless
Mhm.
it, 1990s, into the here now, everyone's going to love it. It's just a very basic idea. I know the sort of stuff I used to do 20 years ago, 25 years ago, data visualization for financial instruments, that got picked up by NASA,
Mhm.
and nobody wanted it but NASA. I mean,
Right.
everyone looked at it and went, "What's that?" I said, "Well, that's an eight-dimensional visualization of the Nasdaq. You can't do things in 8 dimensions. There's only four. They taught me that at school," which of course
Right,
is
right.
completely wrong. Even wrong in physics these days. But
Yes.
back in the day, nobody wanted that because it was too much for them. And now the whole world's stuck in 2 dimensions and numbers. I mean, even I had a chuckle earlier today when I realized that even ChatGPT is just black and white text.
Yes.
I mean, the cleverest thing on earth, it's still there. It is in black and white text. Maybe you can get it to talk to you in a sort of robot voice, but it's still stuck the technology is right now and brilliant, but the actual way it's given to you is so old and so ancient, it just beggars belief. I mean, even people like Spielberg 15 years ago in Minority Reports or The Matrix. I mean, they had a much better way of visualizing data than anybody tries to do on the web. People are still
Hmm.
stuck in a Bloomberg paradigm of, oh, there's orange keys on my keyboard. Wow.
Right.
And we
Absolutely.
plan to kind of pull that out of the last century and maybe get it, closer to 2025.
No, agreed. So yeah, I have actually a comp sci slash BI background, and when you talk about data visualization, there is that extraneous part of your brain that starts to see stuff that's outside of the normal XY bar chart. That's outside of the regular. Here's a spreadsheet again, right?
You can't
And
trade what you
so
can't see. And if you can
absolutely.
see stuff that other people can't see, you can trade that and they can't, and you're going to win, aren't you?
Absolutely. So, because Honda was one of our clients back in the day, and they were asking us just simple questions. What color should we make the car in the commercial? And then, like you said, with multiple dimensions and looking at it differently, we started asking different questions back. So instead of just saying, "Well, the most number selling car was this," we started asking the questions. Hey, on the West Coast, you should make it red. On the East Coast, you should make it black. Why? Those were the sales. Those are the easiest pickups, and those are the ones also talking about your multiple dimensional thinking process with the least amount of returns. And they're like, oh, we never thought about that dimension. It's like, well, yeah, don't you want to keep more of your money, or do you want to keep doing the customer service shuffle back and forth? You tell me. And
Uh,
so,
I
yeah,
always used to say, if you've got the right visualization, the data, which is the answer, will give you the
yes,
question. You don't know the question. If you know the question, you tend to automatically know the answer. But if you don't know the question, you can't get the answer. But if you've
absolutely.
got all the answers and you look at them in a certain way, you go, oh, what's that poking out there? What's that doing there? Why would they do that? Oh, that's why they do that. They've all got
Mm.
skis. Oh, so if we make it for people who want to go skiing, oh,
I get
and
it. But
that's what it's all
those are
about.
the weird extraneous points where you get those, weird events where you're like, hey, you know what? Has anyone thought of this stuff yet? No, why the hell not? And then there's where the I guess the opportunities arise and the investment opportunities, right? It's just, hey, it's something that you see with the visualization that because of your subset, because of your what you have access to, you might see that weird thing that no one else sees, and then there's your opportunity. I love it.
You might wonder why you don't see anything. And I always say, well, the reason you don't see the future is you're looking through the bottom of a beer mug. And, that's the tools that people have are so primitive and the glass is so, opaque. They
Yes.
can't see much. And, that last, over the years, me and my team have built loads of tools that have helped people with their investing and trading. And unfortunately, a lot of people don't know they need it. And a lot of people in the past, but you're starting to see stuff like Gecko Terminal, which is cracking piece of kit.
Hmm.
And I mean, the Binance. I mean, for me, one of the things that really got me into crypto was Binance. Binance was the first financial website I looked at, and I went, "Wow, they're doing a great job. I
Hmm.
would find it difficult to do as good as they're doing." And that's a cracking platform. And then you go and you look at stockbrokers platforms, and you go, "Oh, TD Waterhouse platform. Oh, I mean, Robinhood. Oh,
Yeah,
not so
interesting,
hot, right?
interesting
I mean,
stuff. Yeah.
who designed that with a crayon?"
No, I follow absolutely. So with the new project, the new outlay, the new data visualizations, all these things coming down the pipeline that are happening as we speak. What's the most exciting part of the new project for you?
Fun.
Fun. I love it.
Fun. You see, when I started out, I was a very, very serious person,
Hmm.
and the world has changed, and people want to need a lot more fun these days, and think crypto has injected an element of that, and you're seeing with meme coins that
Yes.
that fun has a value, and I was saying to a long time ago, I think I was saying it to a central banker, and I said, money's just media. It's paper with ink on it.
Hmm.
And if you start to see investments through that lens, you get to meme coins pretty fast, which I
Yeah.
wouldn't recommend as an investment. But
Right.
it's certainly a place where people have made a lot of money. And a lot of young people have made a lot of money because the world is changing and it's allegedly changing even faster than it's ever changed, which I don't agree with, but it's certainly changing. And one of the things about finance is, you can get paid in all sorts of things. And a lot of people don't want to get paid in money. They want to get paid in status. They want to get paid in adrenaline. But I think you could marry fun with investment and with trading. Because, speculation is not investing. When they say, oh, I've invested in Wiggly Woggly coin. No,
No.
you haven't invested in anything. You're trading it. You're gambling in it. And gambling's fine. Gambling drives markets. Okay, so gambling is one end of the spectrum. Investing is another end of the spectrum. But you can cater for all of that without being dead boring. And we
Absolutely.
decided that we would take accuracy, timeliness, and great data, and add to it a lot of fun. Be fun. I mean, if you go, you read the Wall Street Journal, it's about as fun as somebody standing on your foot. Yeah? If you watch CNBC, it'd be a load of people shouting at each other in America. There's
Right.
no fun in it. There might be stimulus, a lot of negativity, a lot of backwards thinking, a lot of old people like me going rah 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 rah. But how about it being entertaining? How about it being fun? How about it looking at it more like the young traders, the young Robin Hooders on Reddit look at things, and the crypto crowd? I mean, if you look at the London stock market, and for that matter, if you look at the Canadian stock market, particularly in the small cap stuff, that's dying on its arse. And it's
Yes.
dying on its arse because everyone's gone to crypto. The next generation is in crypto, and they look upon stocks as being some boring dish of stodgy mashed potato without any butter and pepper. Whereas crypto, that's chilled noodles, that is. And I think that vibe needs to travel, needs to come out of crypto and get into other assets, because there's a lot of value there and a lot of ability to open up the platform, the horizons of people and their investments to the
Right.
mainstream. And, the mainstream should be in investing. I wish they would be. And, they're driven off by the utter boringness of it. And the
But
fact that
it's also the complexities, right? I mean,
yeah,
for the
yeah.
vast majority, it's too hard to do technical analysis, to study a chart, to understand where
Well,
the highs and lows and the patterns are,
do you
and
know,
da,
I'm
da, da,
not so
da.
sure. I'm not so sure. It's just not given to them in an interesting way that
Correct.
makes it
Which is what I was
interesting.
heading towards,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
It's
yeah.
no longer education, it's edutainment, right? Where you have to entertain plus educate at the same time, which backs your
Well,
cause.
when I was a kid, and I was in computer games. I started in computer games when I was like 18.
Mhm.
Edutainment was a terrible word. That always used to give me the heebie-jeebies, because it still sounds really like a painful thing. But how about fun? You
How
do
about
something you
fun? Okay,
enjoy,
fair enough.
do something that you love, and you'll be good at it. And that goes for investing too. So if you have it in a format which is enjoyable and
Mhm.
is fun and funny, perhaps even, but
Yes.
serious fun. I mean, it's not it's not making inaccurate jokes. The
Right.
prices are right, the charts are powerful, but it takes a much more pleasurable attitude and a much prettier attitude, but not
Mm.
for the sake of it.
Right. Well,
Powerful tools that are fun.
I'll give you a funny story. There was this guy who was studying for his engineering exam, and he was reading through the textbook, and it was just dry and boring as hell. And I don't know if you've seen the trend of people just having Minecraft videos with some stuff, audio, writing in the foreground. And so what he did was he found one of those meme generators, took the entire of the textbook that he had to study, threw it into the meme generator, and was able to watch, in the Minecraft background with the with literally his textbook, and was able to now absorb it, right? And
Yeah, yeah,
it's weird,
absolutely.
right? It's just
Well,
strange how the attention economy works, right? It's got to be entertaining. It's got to be interesting. It's got
well,
to be
when you
fun.
were a kid, the class that you were good at was the one that had the teacher that made you laugh and you
Yes,
liked. And
agreed.
the class you were bad at and you probably never recovered to become good at it was the one that had the grumpy old swine
Mhm.
that made you scared and feel as if you wish you weren't there.
Absolutely. To this day, I don't like French class, and to this day, I adore Japanese class. And it was just like you said, it's all due part and parcel to the one leading the class, right? So the teacher dictates whether you keep the interest or not. So
And there's
agreed,
a lot in
100%.
crypto. There's a lot in crypto that is breakthrough in terms of mind space and going into zones which, the old assets, which are wonderful assets, and they've, incredibly a lot of money to be made in them, but they never broke out of that almost pre-Second World War mindset, almost, pre-First World War mindset of, men in top hats looking out the
Well,
guy from Monopoly.
like you said, I mean, it's the cadence of the trade as availability too, right? Volatility in the market makes all the opportunity in the world. The market going sideways doesn't give you any opportunity for trade, right? So, unless there's movement, and like you said, like with the older markets, they've got these windows of opportunity where you can only trade between this and this and that and that, and if you're not within those windows, nothing happens. Whereas, like you said, crypto is on all the time, all day, every day. So there's more opportunity to trade. There's more opportunity to see things, and so and making it fun definitely makes it more exciting for people to stick the long term.
The concepts in equities basically come out, the leading edge of that is the 1950s, and even options, it's technology and a mindset that comes out of the 1960s. So the one of the big value adds from crypto is the new mindset that a lot of people find very difficult to grasp. They don't get the epiphany of, what is the difference to Solana and Ethereum. The underlying machines, I mean, on paper look the same. And what even is going on? Pump.fun? What is that? Yeah,
Right.
they can't even get close to that idea. But actually, it's the tip of the spear of a lot of future financial markets and a lot of future assets, because
Yes.
intangibles are a huge element in equities, but nobody understands them. Nobody even looks at them, even though if you wrote them off tomorrow, half the companies in the S&P 500 would be insolvent.
Fair enough. All right, well, let's move on to question number 2. Question number 2 is, when you're not busy building fun, what do you do to have fun? So what are your hobbies outside of this? People want to know from the project wise, the people behind the project, and they want to get to know you. So what do you do for fun when you're not sitting in front of the computer?
Make money.
Then how do you spend it? How do you spend it then?
How do I spend it? I just stack it. No, I mean, I do like to make money. I am a complete watch addict. I'm a total, utter watch addict.
Nice.
And I used to buy stupidly expensive ones, but that became really a pathology. So I then started to collect old digital watches, and that's a good investment opportunity there. Digital watches from the 1970s, and I collected a few of them, and then I thought, I've got to break this. So then I decided to focus purely on watches that made me go, oh. And a lot of them are dirt cheap. Some of them are almost free, and anybody can afford. Let me show this one here is by a company called Studio Underdog, and they're English. Cool. They're English and they're brilliant. And this is a $700 watch, so it's not a $700,000 watch.
Right,
it's not
right.
Patek Philippe.
I was just about to say, I have my eyes on the specific Patek Philippe that I do kind of want, but I'm happy with the Breitling. I'm happy with the Mont Blanc. I'm happy with, like, not necessarily break the bank type stuff.
Look, I'm a finance guy. I'm an investor in markets and crypto, so I have a few Pateks, but nonetheless, I mean, I'll pull one out of a drawer in a minute for you. But I now prefer to buy things like this watch. Yeah, and this watch, you can see it's got rotary wheels.
Yeah, it catches the eye.
Yeah, and it's not digital. It's actually an analog, and it's actually an automatic. But this was so cheap, it boggled my mind. This is like $300. It's 40 cron. And yes, thank you, 40 cron. You're not paying me, but you can if you want. 40 cron. And it's a fabulous watch. $300.
That would turn heads. That would be fascinating. That would be definitely.
So I'm now collecting crazy watches that have got a reason to be interesting. So this is a wristwatch that came out of the first Russian watch factory in 1935.
Huh.
I love it. And again, it's not a Patek at 130 grand. It's what it costs you to even look in the window. I mean, if you rub your arm up against the Patek Philippe shop, that's how much it'll cost you.
Right.
And, and yeah, beautiful. And it looks absolutely macho on the wrist. And
that's the thing, though, right?
Pretty much 100 years old.
Very cool.
And peanuts. You can go find it. I think it's a site called RussianWatches.com, something like that. SovietWatches.com. Go. If he's called Vlad, he's my man. He'll sell you So amazing. I got a watch that an Russian Antarctic expeditionary force got for going to Antarctica.
Oh,
And
that's
I
cool.
bought that, and one that the team that put the Sputnik up. And
Oh, really?
you're talking about hundreds, not hundreds of thousands.
Right,
So
right. But
I'm
the story behind the watch gives it the real personality and the real
exactly,
oomph and panache, right? I mean that's
yeah,
what you're looking for, the story.
exactly. Not another diver's watch for the guy that's a desk diver.
Right, right. Who's never swam in his life or ever put on a
Yeah, that's right.
spacesuit.
I've just insulted 2,000 of your viewers now.
Oh, that's
Come
okay.
on, guys.
There you go.
Rolexes. Yeah, no. Oh, I mean, I got quite a few Rolexes, but
Yeah,
you
I
can't
get
wear
it.
them
I
these
get it.
days. You get your hand chopped off.
I like your model though. I like the fact that you're buying it for fun, you're buying it for the story, you're buying it for the personality, you're buying it for the history versus you're buying it for the brand.
Well, what hooked me was this little baby.
Oh, there you
And
go.
I bought this from my first stock market killing.
Hmm,
Yeah. And within a week, it made me $1 million.
nice.
Because I got this contract. I was pitching for this contract, and the guy who was pitching it was doing this the
Looking
whole
at the watch.
meeting, trying to make sure it was sweeping, not ticking. And then when I realized that I got the contract on the basis of buying that, I went insane and bought lots of different watches. But that's the business watch, and that today will still, if you want to make people take you seriously in business, that is the one to watch, to wear.
Absolutely.
But you might get your arm chopped off if you're in San Francisco as you walk down the street. That's the
Yeah.
trouble with those watches these days.
Yeah, no kidding. Fair enough. Oh, that's a fascinating hobby. Thank you for sharing that with us.
Well, you
Um,
asked me. I told you. I tell you.
oh yeah. This
And the
this
other
has
thing is,
been
I'm
one
a
of the
treasure
more
hunter.
this has
Sorry.
been one of the more fun second question ones, but like I'm just letting you know because everyone says, "Oh, I like to cook, I like to hike, I like to this." This is really cool. Thank you for this.
Well, the other thing is, I'm also a treasure hunter.
Ah,
And I've got a big treasure hunting channel on YouTube, which if you can find it, you'll enjoy it. But I'm going to tell you what it is because it's my stealth activity, and I go out with all the big treasure hunters, American treasure hunters, and we go find ancient relics in ancient relic places.
fair enough. Treasure hunting it is. That sounds really interesting and really cool. All right, well, on to the third and final question. I'm kind of sad because we're getting close to the end here. It is, why do you want the viewers to come reach out to you, and how do you and where do you want them to go? So like what channel do you want them to go to? Do you want them just to go to the website? Do you want them to go to, do you have like a Discord,
I,
an X, a Telegram? Where do you want them to go?
I'm I'm an always on person, so I don't need a email to do a Zoom to make a meeting to do a thing. So
Hmm.
people probably can find me pretty easily on the interwebs on many
Okay.
channels. But so for example, I'm on X. I don't post very often, but when I do post, it's certainly worth having a look. I
Hmm.
write for Forbes and Seeking Alpha. And I've got a history of like 25 years of not being horribly wrong on Forbes, and
Beautiful.
and often being told off by the editorial staff. You can't say that. You can't possibly say that because nobody knows that, and then it happens.
Right.
And you can check it because it's still there. It doesn't get deleted. So you can see me calling up Bitcoin before it went up last year, and you can
Nice.
see me calling it down the last crash. You can see me calling it up before it went through the roof before the last bubble, and calling it
Right.
down the one before that, and calling it up the one before that. And now I'm calling it down. Sorry, guys. Sorry.
Right.
Don't hate me.
Yeah,
But
but you can make money on the downswing as well.
oh
So,
yeah, for sure, for sure. I never do because I hate shorting. I don't like to make money out of other people's misery. I like to
hmm,
make money when things are going up because that's better
okay.
karma.
Fair enough. So that's where to find you. Just find you up online.
Yeah,
And
Twitter, Clem
obviously
Chambers.
you make good calls. That's the reason why they should find you.
That's why I live in Monaco and I've got all these watches. I can afford to buy them, even though actually, to tell you the truth, when these things are, any old rubbish is selling for 40 grand, I'm not buying one of them a month. That's just,
Hmm.
there's nothing special with them. And I think a lot of the watch companies have what they used to say ripped the arse out of it with all these silly prices. 80 grand for a stainless steel watch that they just released. 80,
Right.
why? And
That's
you
a
can
little
buy a
expensive.
Chinese one for $200. Where's the extra 79,800 coming from?
Right. Plus, I like your model where you find the watch with the story, right? The
Yeah,
Sputnik thing, the the etc. etc. Those are fantastic.
Yeah, and there's so many of them out there. Incredible watches. I just bought one because I kind of tend to buy one every couple of weeks. It's a hard disk. It's an old 1-inch hard disk.
Ah,
It's great. I mean, if you type in hard disk watch, you'll
uh,
see it. You go, oh, I want one of them.
fascinating. That's cool. I'm actually typing it right now because after this show, I'm gonna go look it up. So that's really cool. Well, Clem, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you on the show. Thank you so much for being here. And yeah, what a fascinating project and a fascinating life, my friend.
Well, I look forward to speaking on your show again when you need somebody to talk about things that aren't cooking.
Absolutely. Thanks so much.
See ya.